Hello friends, this is Dr. Aarti Parak, IVF Specialist Nasik, and today I am going to discuss my tips and tricks for improvement of results of fertility patients. So whenever couple comes, so history is very important, and two things I find very important in history is the menstrual cycle history and flow of menses. That will give us idea about her endometrial health. And second, the frequency of coitus, because nowadays we are finding that due to the work pattern, many couples are missing on their fertile days. So these two things I find very important, because if you counsel on those things, the patient can get pregnant naturally. The second point is the investigations. So investing both couples simultaneously is very important. In female side, we have to rule out hypothyroidism, hyperprolactinemia, because these are subtle causes of anovulation. Secondly, her physical conditions. So doing CBC, serum B12, serum D3 will give us idea about her physical conditions, because these are very important vitamins in immunomodulatory as well as folliculogenesis of the ovulatory cycles. Then in husband part, you have to do a semen analysis. In semen analysis, we usually see and we focus on count and motility, but we are missing on two factors, that is liquefaction time and infection, that is leukocytospermia. So if pathologists give you that the liquefaction time or viscosity is high, that means that semen which is getting deposited in the vagina is not getting liquefied in time, so the sperms are getting trapped in vagina only. And the second, the infection part. If leukocytes are more than 2, then there is an infection in that semen, and that infection will cause the DNA fragmentation in sperm, which will hamper its quality which is needed for the fertilization of the egg. So these two things we generally miss out. If there is a problem with a viscosity or a leukocytospermia, you can go for a culture, so that will give you idea that which organism is causing this infection and which is the drug of choice for that organism. Giving the course of antibiotic for 21 days will solve the problem. The second part is, once we have done the investigation and we have concluded that what is the cause of that infertility, then the second part is optimization of those conditions. So whatever investigations we do, whatever, like if CBC is low, more than less than 10, or there is a hypothyroidism, many times the laboratory gives you the report that 5.5 is the higher margin of a normal C of a thyroid. But in pregnancy, what we aim as to keep that TSH level less than 2.5. So I suggest, and I practice this, that for this subclinical, the TSH ranges from 2.5 to 5.5. You can give a supplement like the Hyropis, which is not a medicinal, but it's a nutritional supplement to correct that hormone. So it always helps. Then prolactin. Prolactin is very important, because abnormal levels of prolactin will always hamper ovulation as well as endometrial receptivity. So correcting prolactin is very important. So two drugs, Belong F or Cabergoline, in right doses will solve those problems. So correcting these small problems can give a very good results in your infertility cycles. Once you have optimized these couples by giving supplements, you can plan whatever, like ovulation induction plan relationship or IUI cycles, depend on their age, depend on whatever previous treatments they have already taken, depend on the count of husband. So considering all the factors, you can start ovulation induction with plan relationship or combine it with the IUI. So whenever you start your treatment cycle, always call that patient on day 2 and day 3, and the sonography on day 2, day 3 is very must. If you are not doing sonography in your clinic, and if you are having it from a radiologist, then talk to that radiologist that on day 2 scan, you not only need a over AFC, but you need the size of follicles. Okay, why I am telling you this? Because if any follicle is more than 10 mm, we should not go ahead with our stimulation, because that 10 mm is suggesting us that the follicle is already have advanced, and if we stimulate it, the quality will be not good, and there will be endometrial and follicular asynchrony, which will result in the failure of this cycle. So what you can do, when there is a follicle more than 10 mm or endometrium more than 6 mm, that suggests that this cycle has not down regulated well, and so you can add, or you can wait for one more cycle, put them on a OC pills or estrogen progesterone combinations, and then ask them again in the next cycle, and then start the stimulation. Once you start your stimulation, the second thing is selection of the protocol. Protocol, everyone knows there are two drugs only, one are oral and other one is a injectable. So if oral is working, then you can continue with the oral, but if you are planning with IUI, or if you want to hyperstimulate that patient, you can always add HMG. But whenever you are doing that, you always do a follicular study from day 10 onwards. In follicular study, you have to measure how many follicles are growing and how is the endometrium. Is it synchronizing or it is lagging behind? When stimulation dose is good, then you will find on day-2 sonography, you will get the follicles of ranging from 14 to 16 mm size, and endometrium will be somewhere more than a 7 mm and triple line. When you want to now decide about the trigger, generally every textbook or everyone says that the size of follicle is important. So anywhere at 18 to 22 you can give a trigger, but I say that with size of follicle, endometrium is also important. If endometrium you feel that it's lagging behind, like it's 7 mm, 8 mm, the vascularity if you are doing is not good, then you can wait 1 or more 2 days so that endometrium matches, and then you can give a trigger. So whenever you are planning your trigger, always consider endometrium size also along with the follicle size. Then once you have given your trigger, then if you are planning IUI, then plan your IUI irrespective of rupture of follicle at the 36 to 48 hours, because many times the follicle ruptures and it rehappens, so refills itself. So whenever you do the scan, you can see a false that it is not it has not ruptured, you can miss that cycle. But the new guideline says that you don't have to, if you are planning IUI, you don't have to wait for a rupture. You do your IUIs at the same time, like 36 to 40 hours, and then again call them next day and see the rupture if you want. Otherwise you can start progesterone right away, and if this cycle fails, then if your day 2 scan shows that there is a cyst, then you can label this patient as a LUF. Otherwise, if it doesn't ruptures on the same time, don't worry, it happens. But there are many patients who don't show rupture on 36 to 40 hours, but they conceive in the same cycle. So with this experience, everybody has started continuing their cycle as planned, even we cannot see the rupture at that day. So after rupture, there is a question about the luteal support. So in luteal support, if you are using a letrose, then giving any progesterone in a single once a day is fine. But whenever if you are using HMG with letrose, and whenever there are 2 or 3 follicles growing, so mind that the estrogen coming is very high. So counterbalance that estrogen, the progesterone you have to give has to be on a higher side. So whenever that's a hyperstimulation cycle, then always add twice daily or thrice daily progesterone to give a adequate luteal support. So if you follow this, I think your success will increase significantly. Thank you for this discussion today. Thank you.